Ladies, gentlemen, esteemed non-binaries, Trashkin all, good evening and welcome to another episode of Trash Tier Gaming. I'm your humble host, Rascal Trash Bear, and today we're getting back into Remnant 2. Yesha. We're headed back to Yesha. Which ain't doing great because there's plenty of red trees, man. We messed it up good and proper last time. Maybe we didn't necessarily do in the Guardian, but we didn't exactly help matters any either. That poor merchant. Now I saw a creep in
a whole other world. How many of these are there?
Oh, we're way up there.
Huh? Oh, while Clementine and that talking ball of light hang out and meditate? Yeah, sure.
Oh! I see we discovered the joys of heavy armor. Nothing? Nothing. Oh, my instincts say not to head up the middle. Yeah, this freaking doorway. I mean, it seems like the weightlifting program's improved since I was here last. We are just burning through the ammo reserves. I seem to remember Wicker being invulnerable the last time I was here, but okay. Nada. Also de nada. Let's see, relic dust. Oh, I'll take forged iron. Oh, what those life bars slowly ebbing down is telling me one of two things. Either these are tanks, or alternatively, the game is telling me to spend some iron. Well, that was at least a something. That is some jump. That is some good distance on that. Oh wait, hello. The sun, first of four sisters. Moon, life, death, the doe, the ravager, the beginning, sun and moon. Sister of the first of the four, the moon, warrior of light, life, ether and matter of the four, death, great transformer of the four, the doe, a fleet-footed incarnation of life, the ravager, fanged incarnation of death. Sun and moon describe the skies and the firmament beyond. Their whims will tell if tides are high and if day has dawned. And fragile life must hang below, a puppet on a thread. Only choosing makes it so to live. Calamity, They called it the Ravager, a beast of fur black as sackcloth, and teeth dyed red as blood. Made no more than mutton of the bravest warrior. Fear fell like night. Death roamed Yaesha. Whether those who had seen the beast would have seen the beast slain, but the Ravager was never much glimpsed. But the doe should follow. The green things of the jungle sprang from the doe's feet. And on what did green things grow, if not the flesh of departed life? What would become of the doe if the Ravager felled? What would become of Yaesha? For though they may struggle always, their struggle serves balance and keeps unharnessed death from above and descending upon us all. Hope. A blessing of hope. The doe's steps, may the doe's steps cross your fulsome fields. May life's wind sound your pride, or your pipe and flute. May the warm sunlight your voyage home, and the Ravager's howls bring you not fear. When the doe and the Ravager in their circuit run, when the sun and stem weave life's gold thread, as life and sun support them from below, all will be revealed to the bulwark of the doe. Well, nice to have some... Oh, more lore. If this account is found, I will surely die. But I love my Empress. Whatever happens to me, the truth must be written down for her sake. I who write am a Thane's keeper. What a many. My existence has been devoted to caring for the tree of life, and through it, the Empress and her immortals. Few know the hearts of both the Thean and the Empress better than I. What she did for love. It began with a visit to the Krell's Paxeltuk king. Although war between Pan and Krell ended years ago, raiding parties from both worlds continued to attack the weak and defenseless. Once our truce was a sham, and our people still suffered. So it was that the Paxeltuk king came through the door from the world to seek an audience with the Empress, and Genas, our gracious ruler, gave him this audience and listened to his tale. The Goblin King told... The Goblin King told a tale of sorrow of a terrible Cyclops who had demanded the tribute of the Krell's youngest daughter. It had been this way. That was the reason the king had called the truce in the first place. But after years of fruitless attempts to save his daughter, the king came to the Empress, Genas, as a desperate father seeking a boon. Krell, he said, have ancient stories of other worlds, stretching back even to the times before the Pan had sailed the Dark Sea. Those stories drew them to Yaesha in search of the Tree of Life, but their tales said nothing about the Pan and the Krell. They were surprised at our resistance and had to revise their estimation of our people. They came seeking life, not war, and they were as surprised as we were. But the king did not come before our Empress asking for the fruit of life. He sought the means to destroy his enemy, to save his daughter. He spoke of secrets only the Thane's keepers knew, of deep caverns, where the roots of the Thane wend and wind into Yaesha's belly and sprout very different kind of fruit. The Thane not only produces beautiful fruit, it gives the immortals life, but also gnarled gourd that gives certain death. The Goblin King begged Genas for the twisted fruit. Please, he said, my daughter is all I have left. In return, he swore to destroy the painting connecting our worlds. Thus ended the war for good. Ginas was wary, of course, but she also was moved by the king's sorrow. After 2 days and nights of consideration, she summoned him and said, "None of us swim alone. Take what you need and go." It was love that moved her hand, for that is who our Empress is. She could not have foreseen what would happen. Hours after the gourd was plucked, the Goblin King returned to his world. A single leaf fell from the branch of the tree that never changes. More than half have fallen since, slow and seldom, but they are the first to fall in the Fane's lifetime, and they will not be the last. The Fane is dying. Many do not want to believe, for the Fane's life is the Pan's, but as one who has spent my life communing with the tree, who knows its song by heart, I can tell you with certainty that it is true. I am equally certain of what will happen next. The fruit will fall, Her Majesty will grow afraid to lose both life and power, for who would not be? She will hoard what fruit is left, like Bear hoards its bread. It may be tens or even hundreds of years before any but Fane's keepers and Empress know the truth. But when others learn, there will be war. I know this as I know the beating of my own heart. When that day comes, let it be known Empress Ginas acted for the good of all peoples, and that she could not have possibly foreseen the cost. I know not why Yesha seems to have repaid good with ill, but I know that our Empress is now and always worthy of our love. I want to believe it, but I've seen how you treat the lower castes. Like a jerk. Oh, even more. The Norbear and the Brillet. Well, I wasn't expecting to do a lore read-through, but here we are. In the time before the Immortals, a Norbear and a Brillet were trapped in the middle of the sea, clinging together to either end of a plank of wood. Neither could swim, and land was nowhere to be seen. The Norbear had a single loaf of bread it had rescued. It took several bites of the bread when the Brillet asked, "Will you please share some of your bread with me? I have nothing, and we must work together to find land." The Norbear looked at the bread, and became afraid of how little was left. "I can only spare a morsel," the Norbear said, "for we do not know how long it will be before we are saved." And the Norbear took a single bite of bread, no larger than its nose, and gave it to the Brillet. All that day and night, the Norbear and Brillet kicked the water, traveled together as far as they could. The sun rose, and no land was to be seen. The next day, the Norbear took another meal from the loaf, and said, "Will you please share some of your bread with me?" Again, the Norbear looked at the bread and was wary, for though the loaf was large, there was even less than there had been the day before. The Norbear offered the Brillet another small bite. "Yesterday's work was hard," the Brillet protested. "I am weak from the effort. Can we not share equally? For you have so much, and I have nothing." "This is equal," said the Norbear, "for I am larger and require more to give me strength." "But we have done the same amount of work," said the Brillet. But the Norbear was afraid and could not give up more. "Let us work together again. Perhaps we shall find land today." So the Norbear and Brillet swam for another day and another night, but still no land was to be seen. When the Norbear ate the next day, the Brillet said, "We have been out here 3 days, and your loaf is as large as when we began. You have more than enough, but if I do not eat, I will die." The Norbear looked at the loaf and thought the Brillet was foolish, for though it was large, there was clearly less than there had been the day before. "If I share equally," thought the Norbear, "it'll only last a few more days. But if the Brillet eats a little, it'll last for weeks. Surely we can find land in that time." "You must not be greedy," the Norbear said aloud. "If we work hard, we will soon find land, and then you can have all the bread you want." The Norbear gave the Brillet another small bite, and they swam together for another day and night. When the sun rose the next morning, The brillet did not ask for more bread. The Norbear was thankful. What's more, the Norbear finished its morning meal and looked to the horizon. Sighted the peak of a mountain top. The Norbear shouted in triumph, "There, you see, we have done it together." But the brillet did not see. The brillet was too weak to even speak. It closed its eyes and laid down its head and slipped off the plank into the sea. The plank became unbalanced, and one end tipped in the air. With a cry of panic, the Norbear fell into the sea as well, leaving only the plank and a loaf of bread atop the water. The moral: none of us swim alone. All things are connected to all things. Not bad. Pretty good story time. Where do I begin? It's been my life's pursuit to bring ink to paper, and yet I am at a loss. Facts. I'll begin with facts, and that means I must begin with the plague. Kolet was on the throne. His enemies were in their graves. Coin, drink, and good times were available to all his subjects. And then one day, rumors began to circulate of Pan falling sick in the outskirts of Ang Foreign. Overnight, shops and guilds in major settlements began to shutter. Before we know it, everyone knows someone who has died. There are whispers that this blood is all paid to fate. The price of Kolet's many wars, the bill due for his body count. Weeks later, we all know death. We all know one who's the last of his line. We are all the lucky ones, they say. But there's no end in sight. The world is poisoned to us now, and that's when Kolet tells us of the ships. No one who has sailed beyond the horizon has returned from the dark sea. Fools call it the edge of the world. But a concept that seems ridiculous, for would not all the water rush off the edge of the table? But for all we know, they're right, yet we cannot stay here. At last, I know what it is I am writing. A chronicle of the voyage of the Pan. Yeah, I remember that from the last game, that they crossed the sea. I didn't remember them stressing the plague, but I mean, you don't cross the sea without a reason, I assume. Spiced plums. 5 wicks of cured Norbear meat sliced into thin strips. Half a cask of pressed sweet leaf syrup. 10 golden plums. 1 cask of water. And a third wick of the crystal. Method. Step 1. In a dark, secure location, place the crystal into the water and let it sit from sunset to sunset. Be careful that no light escapes the location you have chosen, else the anime will descend upon you and arrest your entire household. You are likely aware of this if you have acquired the crystal in the first place. The Anahi will use us to harvest, but let us have none of the fruits. Step 2. Wait, is that how they heat their water? Crystals? If so, that is cool, but incredibly inefficient time-wise. Slice the plums together lengthwise into thin coins. Step 3. In a deep pot, alternatively layer plums, Norbear beet, and syrup. Pour some of the crystal-infused water with each layer, being very careful not to let the water touch your skin. Continue until all ingredients have been used. Cover and cook over a low flame until sunrise. Don't worry, heat and time will reduce the water's causticity, leaving only a pleasant piquancy. Step 5. Do not serve when the Anahi are near. Well, we did hear about how the people, how the Pawn are resourceful folks and had a tendency to get into things they weren't supposed to. It's like the ruling class says, no, we are the only ones that should use crystals. And of course, Miner's gonna do what Miner's gonna do, and they pocketed a little for themselves. So I guess the Han and Hay are enforcers? Nada. Nothing. I don't see any obvious traps. I've again lost 20 minutes to... Oh! Girl Scout cookies. Anybody home?
Boyana, come. We have been waiting.
I'm nervous.
That's far enough.
Ma'am?
Paxeldeck. It stands before the eternal Empress, mistress of the Red Court, favored of the Thean. Yet it is nothing. Hoofless, feckless, interloper.
Well, you got the feckless right.
You know.
And where it stands, it dies.
Oh, maybe we can talk about this.
Doggo. It seems it shall live. For now. But tell us, Paxeldeck, what woes does it bring this time? It stands before the eternal Empress, once and future ruler of Yesha. Her Majesty asks once more, what brings the Paxeldeck to her court? Answer, for eternal life is not the same as eternal patience.
Let's go with the Great Beast. I mean...
Her Majesty is unsurprised by its solipsism. From the Krell to Ford to the Destroyer, Paxeldeck ever served the wants of the self.
You know Ford?
There is no name more cursed in these royal halls. When the pestilence came, Ford succored the schismatics. Treachery turned to ruin. Ruin to desperation. Her Majesty would see Ford bleed. Would see all Paxeldeck put to the blade. But the Paxeldeck prowess is fearful. Ford the Destroyer.
Oh,
and
it is a
others
title.
were staggering.
Oh, it is separate.
Undeniable.
Oh,
Perhaps
we were the Destroyer.
Paxeldeck's strength can serve to liberate rather than oppress. Her Majesty, in her eternal wisdom, will grant it grace. The Paxeldeck's life in exchange for another's.
I can't help but notice that screw it and go to boss fight option. And you know, well, I do have a history of knocking off monarchs. I want to hear them out.
Her permanence has spent many lifetimes communing with the Thean. The Holy Tree grants euthanasia, but also clarity. The Paxeldeck needs salvation, power to overcome the only true enemy. Do not
Let me guess.
demur, for it has not the guile to see beyond her eternity. All dance to the same world song. Different notes, different parts, same tune. The Paxeldeck seeks the abomination. It would slay this creature, and her eternity would see it slain. In this way, it will prove its loyalty and worth.
Mm-hmm.
For her Majesty will not suffer Another transgressor. It deserves death, yet spits at the alternative. Her infinitude is too gracious, yet let it decide. Her permanence savors either outcome. She desires only to bring the Nunyatav back to the pen, to draw her people back from the abyss created by the Sundering. But the abomination bedevils her will. A horror, wretched in her sight. Let the Paxeltech face this dark spirit. Be not her bane,
Okay.
but her blade. Ask
I have
them,
questions.
but do not test her eternity's grace.
Oh, ho, ho.
The foolish Kuri could sooner comprehend the desires of the sun than the Paxeltech could grasp the powers of her permanence.
Try me. I'm a pretty clever
It
bird.
speaks above its station. We do not explain ourselves to Paxeltech. If it asks again, her answer shall be written in steel.
I thought you guys were on bronze. Is that just a coding effect?
Does it need a reason to obey eternity?
Yes, I'm finite.
Perhaps hating the fiend as we do would sharpen its edge. We once had a guardian, a god of many faces. This one of many was destroyed by Paxeltech. And now, in the Guardian's rotting remains, root and ruin have entwined into a horror and mockery of divinity. Just so.
And
When the dark spirit wormed its decay into our god, the husk of the blessed Thean grew malign. The eternal ziggurat was torn asunder. Our world now hangs by its tendrils, and our future by a strand of hope thinner still.
that's terrible. I'm
Its
sorry.
sympathy is poor recompense for what its kind have cost the pan.
What will happen?
Peace and greatness, Paxeltech. Nunyatav will once again return to the Eternal Court, bringing immortality to the deserved.
See,
And the
that's my
deathless
problem.
one will put her hoof through the black heart of the root. The end of the root is a blessing to all. Her eternity aches to sing them into oblivion.
Okay,
The path to
I got the shape of
desire is
things.
neither easy nor safe. Go forth, blade. Cut away the rot that plagues this world. Prove
Does
there is one
anyone
Paxeltech
else-
that is more useful living than dead.
Does anyone else have the blood rave stuck in their head at the mention of blade? Just me? Let's scope this out then. Ah, Lockheed. Ah, friendly. Okay, fair enough. Well, that's also a dead end. A little light on instruction. Perhaps the way will make itself apparent. I hope so, because I don't have anywhere else to go. Not like you can head back anywhere. Back is no longer an option. Well, heck, I'm a pause. Do not waste precious episode time, and get after it. Oh well, good grief and gravy, Trashkin. I ran right past the freeway there. Yep, that's a root infection if ever I seen one. Alright, well. After 30 minutes of prelude, here we are. Bloodroot. Oh, this looks familiar. Okay, I really thought the foliage was going to be stripped back a ways. I'm glad the jungle's doing okay, because like in the previews they were showing off just the palace and I assumed, oh god, they defoliated the whole place. Oh boy. Again, it pains me to do damage to anything even vaguely doggo-esque. But, them's root doggo, so they don't count. Don't have to feel bad about that one. That took a hot minute. Last ammo. Well,
Here they come.
well, we blew through a fair bit of ammo. But, more importantly, we're making progress. Didn't notice that brass knob before. I mean, it's been about 3 weeks for me since I last played. Long enough for a couple or for a patch or two. I think one dropped. There might have been more, but I wasn't paying close attention. About the only thing I try to pay close attention to is whether or not Luna Acid updated. So I'm really looking forward to playing some more game. Them's deer. I'm not shooting deer. There's no... Hey guys. Majestic. I mean, look at these boys. I ain't doing nothing to jeopardize these boys. Though I am curious if they're gonna make me do anything horrific. Spirit of the forest, you say? Healing effectiveness up. Ooh, pretty. This ring bears a depiction of the moon rising over Yesha, tinged with the color of blood moon essence. Although the crest is common enough, the particular coloring is rarely seen and often feared. The jungle kills so that it might live. Flesh feeds soil. Bones grow into blooms. Even under the blood moon, all things remain connected to all things. Fair enough. Nice to pick up a... boys. Well, I'm glad there's something fast enough on its feet to stay away from the root. Oh, boy. Oh, they're coming out of the trees now. Terrific. Every time I hear that... Oh, mama.
Come on.
Storm Mage? That's new. That's a good boy. It's a very good boy. Mere good boy. That's a very good boy. We can't have an episode and not give the puppers their pet. It's a world I don't want to live in. Good boys don't get their treats or pets. Well, at least the animal population. Heck. Oh, I ran into that one. Oh. I wasn't even trying, I managed to kick the hornet's nest. Go figure. Iron. Alright, there we go. Up. How are you hiding? No, I'm honestly debating dipping into Gunslinger just for the ammo reserve ability. So don't get me wrong. Oh, that's you. I heard thumpa 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 thumpa, and I'm like, somebody crawling down a tree. Yep. Dense and confusing as ever. Oh, that's just a cluster. Seems like it used to be a forge or something. Well, I'm glad of the supplies. Was that a pot or a brazier? Or a forge? I mean, I don't see an anvil anywhere about, but there is a sharpening stone. Video game archaeology goes real weird. Okay, video game xenoarchaeology goes real weird. I mean, it just as easily could be a long-left communal stew pot, for all I know. I mean, I know Leona still has a giant stew pot they fire up once a year for giggles. Yep. This don't look welcoming. I must say, they have greatly improved on the root foliage since last. Or it's an improvement. Black Maw, Ernits, keep... I wonder if that's a doggo joke with the Black Maw. Lovely. What the hell is that?
Okay, this is it.
Tongs, pot. Seems like a preparation area, if I had to guess. Remember that we're flyers. I suspect we might see another varietal. Oh, it's just birds doing their thing. Boy, howdy, the areas at least feel bigger. Oh, hell's bells, man. Oh, boy. Oh, and they have explosives now. Is that tangible?
Come on.
Hang it. Woo. I take every mean thing I had to say about the claws back. That's a good boy. That's a very good boy. You dealt with an extended fight and you didn't even go down once. That's a very good boy. Like, something about that spot makes me want to investigate it a little more. Let's see if there's anything for us down here. There's a drop. A drop is what is down here for us. Oh. I think that's where we broke off. Are those them bird? Or, is the deer having a chat? I suppose the closer to impalas. I mean, the sword style seems to have changed between games, but, you know, to be fair, I got no idea if everywhere time passes the same, you know? I mean, it could be faster next to the woods. No. I can't do it. Just, like, I really just don't wanna. Like, there's no materials together that I know for certain. Feels needless. I mean, it's to an end, sure, I'll hunt. But heaven knows, I like hunting and fishing in video games. I mean, for heaven's sake, I've done 2 hunting games in Ichiro Horde. Alright, can't slow walk that one. Okay, so we take apart the armor and then we can hammer on its weak spot. Its weak spot's its chest. I'm glad to see they at least stayed creative with weak points. It's a lot of dead ends, but not a lot to show for them. Where was that little stone rise there? Did I just take the weirdest possible long route? Oh, well, at least the weirdest possible long route yielded a tiny bit of ammo. Oh. There's something to get up. That was convenient. Oh, more items, more items. Of course. Oh, you're new.
This ain't good.
It's sort of nice to be fighting the root. Oh, some luminite. Don't mind if I do. We're doing weirdly okay on that. How are we doing for scrap, though? Scrap. Oh, right, it's up top now. I keep looking for it on the bottom. 985. Not exactly rich, but something. I don't know if we're getting anywhere this time. There's the top to this. This feels like a trap. Oh, no. Well, I do want to keep my eye open for books. Really stop spending bullets that way. They got a lot less generous with breakables. I suppose they learned their lesson from ROM. Which, if you give us giant stores of breakables, we will abuse that. Or, you know, perhaps they always meant the drop rate for scrap to be a little lower. Like Remnant 2 feels like a little more of an economic struggle to me, is what I'm saying. Oh, well. There's another freeway, why not? Alright, well, there's nothing down there for us. I guess across the footbridge then? Huh. Oh yeah, that's the burbs. That's the burbs. Yeah, I wish to leave as many burbs undisturbed as possible. They're just chilling. Ah, checkpoint. That's progress. So, as per my usual. Come on. Just let me. Yeah. Alright. There we go. Well, we've explored most of this. I got a little more to go over there. A little more to go over here. So let's knock that out. No stone unturned, after all. I swear they can hear when I do. Oh. don't have the iframes to make it through. Woo! Oh yeah. Good boy, we leveled up. Looks familiar. Looks like they have a recipe hanging out. Oh, let's make sure there's nothing else interesting here. I don't think there's going to be anything down in this hollow for us, but... it's there, so I'm taking a look. Spoke too soon. We do in fact have some stuff in front of us. Well, an event's an event all the same. And we are coming up on the hour mark. Let's see where we are. The chimney. Well, this might go smooth, this might not. But we're not going to find out until next time, Trashkin. As per usual, I'd like to thank you all for coming out. I, by some minor miracle, got in on Blue Sky, and I do a little promo work there. The occasional what I'm working on. I'm not on terribly often, but if you want to chat to me over there and you happen to be on, go right ahead. My invites are promised to a couple of esteemed tubers when they start showing up. That's going to be a bit, so I can't help up there yet. But if you're already on, do holler at me. I thought about doing Reddit, and I thought about doing Twitter, but when I first thought about Twitter, it was right after Elon took over and things weren't running great. And then, like, last month, or this month, Elon announced doing away with Block, and I threw my personal Twitter into the sea. I'm done with it. No thanks. I'm out. And Reddit unfortunately caught Elon's API upcharge stupid, so I did a little skittering around Reddit, but you know, like then I wandered off again. Anyhoozle, I'd like to thank you all for coming out. I'd like to remind you that likes, subscriptions, hitting the bell, if you care to. I upload like 5 times a week. I don't blame you if you don't want to hear from me 5 times a week. And shares really help us out in the algorithm. It helps other folks find us. It helps me keep the snack and drinks tables stocked. If you do have to depart the trash fire, take a moment, have a good stretch. I don't want you pulling anything in your walk home. I've been your humble host, Raspa Trash Bear. Until next time on Trash Tier Gaming. Go play some games, take care of yourselves, good night, and I'll see you all in the next one.